Welcome to another installment of Turn Up the AC Hot Takes with Reason on a solo edition. Saturday night we had a huge fight. George Kambosos, Devin Haney for Undisputed in the lightweight division. And man, did Devin Haney put on a masterpiece performance. Call it boring, call him pillow-fisted, call him email champion, whatever you've been calling him, you better make sure you add Undisputed to that list now of what you call him. He clearly pulled off a unanimous decision. I don't know what those scorecards were talking about, how two judges can possibly give him 4 rounds. Like, Devin Haney basically pitched a shutout. I can understand you giving Kambosos the 10th round because, as Devin Haney, he said it himself, he kind of took his foot off the gas and he was just getting through the round because he knew he had it won already. He had it in the bag. So Devin Haney, at 23 years of age, is now the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. He does have a rematch clause in there where he is contractually obligated to fight Kambosos one more time in Australia, and then a third fight potentially against Lomachenko. I really don't think we need to see another fight between him and Kambosos, because, I mean, what is Kambosos going to change? He looked like he had no game plan. He had no answers for Devin Haney's jab, strong jab, something that we all knew Devin Haney had coming into this fight. And it looked like Kambosos literally never even considered Haney throwing his jab as much as he did. But Kambosos, ends up with a loss, first of his career. I don't think we need to see that rematch, but who knows? We might have to see it because it was, agreed in the contract. But before we go any further talking about this fight, ESPN, they're supposed to be the worldwide leader in sports, but they constantly are trying to rewrite history. They're trying to add Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos to the list of undisputed champions, which they are not undisputed champions. The WBC franchise belt is not something that makes you undisputed. There is only a handful of undisputed champions, and Bernard Hopkins was one of them. Jermaine Taylor, Terrence Crawford. This is all in the 4-belt era. Terrence Crawford, Usyk did it at cruiserweight. Canelo Alvarez just did it, about a year ago when he beat Caleb Plant. It's ridiculous what they're trying to do when they're trying to add fighters to this list. Oh, and Josh Taylor, too, at junior welterweight. He was undisputed as well. But I think it's ridiculous that ESPN does this. This isn't the first time they've done something like this. They constantly are trying to push Lomachenko down our throats like if he's the best thing since sliced bread. And Lomachenko is to me, he's more of like a hype job. I'm not going to say he's complete hype job because he does have some skills and he does have some great, boxing skills and great footwork. But let's be honest, he's already lost 2 times in under 20 fights. Like, I'm sorry, you're not what ESPN is trying to say. Not only that, when they put his record on screen on ESPN, they have more than once said he was undefeated. They turn his L's into a O. And it's not true. He lost to what's his name? Salido. I forget his name off the top of my head, but yeah, he lost to I think his second fight of his career, and then he just recently lost to Teofimo Lopez not too long ago. And yeah, man, it's just ridiculous that ESPN tries to do stuff like this. It's sad. They're supposed to be the worldwide leader in sports, but they're over here trying to rewrite history, insulting us as boxing fans, acting like we don't know what we're watching. We know Teofimo was never undisputed. We know that Kambosos was never undisputed. All this started with the WBC and Mauricio Solomon. When they allowed Lomachenko to give up his WBC strap when Haney became his mandatory, and then they elevated him to the franchise, which franchise championship was supposedly never supposed to be transferable. They don't have any mandatories, no sanctioning fees. So how are they considered undisputed? So yeah, that's where it all started. When Lomachenko didn't want to fight Devin Haney after he became his mandatory. And yeah, so it's ridiculous to even think that Lopez or Kambosos should even be considered undisputed, because they're not. And anybody who knows anything about boxing can understand that. Orlando Salido was his name, the guy who beat Lomachenko in his second fight. I had to look that up because it was getting me mad that I didn't know his name off the top of my head. But yeah, man, it's pretty ridiculous that ESPN does that. But let's get back to the fight. Devin Haney, I gave maybe Kambosos 1 round. I don't see how you can give him any more than 2 rounds at the most. But yeah, I had it 119-109 in favor of Devin Haney. He worked behind his jab all night. Great footwork. He was patient. He didn't try to do too much. You can say he was boring, but he's in a hostile environment where the potential of him being robbed was already talked about. So he didn't want to do nothing that is going to sway the view of the judges. Because anytime Kambosos even remotely looked like he was doing any type of work, the fans went crazy. So if Devin Haney would have tried to go for the knockout or something, and Kambosos landed a couple of shots, the fans would have went nuts. And who knows? All it takes, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't take very much for the judges to be swayed one way or another. I mean, look, 2 of them gave Kambosos 4 rounds, and he did not come anywhere near winning 4 rounds. I thought what Devin Haney did was awesome all night. He put up a masterpiece performance. He showed incredible boxing skills, far superior to Kambosos. I thought he outclassed him. Yeah, man, he did his thing. For anybody saying that Haney doesn't have any power, and they call him, pillow-fisted and all that, he must have some type of power to keep fighters off of him. He kept Kambosos at bay all night, and he landed some good shots on Kambosos. I really don't see what is going to change if there is a rematch. Anytime Kambosos got close, I thought this was really smart on Devin Haney's part. Anytime Kambosos tried to rush in there, try to get into him, try to make it a rough and tough, ugly fight, Devin Haney was smart. He either smothered him back by getting, tight, close to his body where punches really couldn't be thrown, or he wrapped up. And I thought that was a genius move, because Kambosos couldn't do nothing from the outside. His only chance was to get inside. And anytime he got close, Devin Haney was able to stop that. He definitely frustrated Kambosos throughout the fight. In the 10th round, Kambosos tried to hold Devin Haney's right arm, I believe it was, under his arm, and he's throwing a punch, trying to land it. So, little dirty tactics, but Kambosos was frustrated, and that's all he felt he can do. And it was great on Devin Haney's part. He stayed composed. And even in the 11th round, Kambosos threw another little cheap shot over his head to try to, land on Haney, when Haney was just completely dominant throughout the fight all night. There was no head movement from Kambosos. Anytime Haney threw his jab, it seemed like he was landing, and he was beating Kambosos to the punch more times than not, and constantly making Kambosos have to reset, and start again, where he was trying to get back in close, trying to, make it a dog fight, and he just couldn't. Devin Haney just dominated. He came in. He did exactly what he said was going to do. Easy start to finish. probably a shutout, but I gave Kambosos 1 round. Yeah, man, a very impressive performance of Devin Haney. This, in my opinion, should put Devin Haney on your pound-for-pound list. I mean, even if he's on the 10th spot, he should be there. From what he showed he's an excellent boxer. He has excellent jab, amazing footwork, and he's not going to beat himself. So, although there might be a rematch because it was in the contract, I really don't see what's going to change in the second fight. Maybe Haney stops him in the second fight. I thought he was going to be able to stop him, this first time around, but Haney didn't try to do too much. He stayed in his comfort zone, and he just cruised to an easy victory. Unless Kambosos really goes all out next time around, I don't see how he does any better than he did on Saturday night. So, yeah, man, I just want to give all the props in the world. I think we all need to give Devin Haney his props, give him his flowers right now while he's here. 23 years old, undisputed champion. Yeah, we have to give him the credit, man, because he did what so many fans across the world, so many fans say they want fighters to do. Take the low money now so you can call the shots later. Oh, sides of the street shouldn't matter, and blah, 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 blah. Haney proved all that. He took the short money. He took a 3-fight deal. He took a rematch in Australia just to secure the fight, because he was so confident in his ability to win. And he definitely did that. He put on a boxing clinic, in my opinion. Man, so much can be said about Devin Haney. It's amazing what he was really able to do. He also had to correct Max Kellerman, because once again, ESPN, the so-called worldwide leader in sports, is at it again, where Max Kellerman said he could finally call Devin Haney a champion because he won on Saturday night. And Devin Haney had a tweet and corrected him to make sure he called him undisputed, because that's what Devin Haney is. He's been a WBC champ ever since Loma ducked him, and now he's the undisputed champion in the lightweight division, top dog. Can't nobody take that away from him. Nothing but respect for Devin Haney. He deserves all the credit. He deserves everything that he got right now, because he got it the hard way. He forced himself into the championship picture, and now he's bearing the fruits of his labor as an undisputed champion. And I don't see that championship going anywhere anytime soon. If he does have to fight Kambosos again, I see him dominating Kambosos with a stoppage again. And then that fight with Lomachenko, I've been waiting for that one for a long time, because it'll be definitely a step up in competition for Loma. And I believe that Devin Haney is a superior boxer to him as well. But we'll talk about that fight if and when it is made official. So until then, go ahead and comment and hate, debate, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate it all. Let me know, what you think about the fight. Did you give Kambosos any more than 1 or 2 rounds? What did you think about the fight? Why? Do you want to see a second fight? Do you think we need to see a second fight? You know what I'm saying? So until next time, this has been Reason. Turn up the AC Hot Takes, and we're out.